When you invest your money in mutual fund, it is very important to build a balanced mutual fund portfolio. This portfolio should be based on your financial goal and risk appetite. For example, let's say you have got a financial goal of building a retirement corpus in the next 10 to 15 years. For that, you should invest your money in equity mutual fund. And if you have got a goal of, let's say, building an emergency fund, then you should invest your money in debt mutual fund. Now within each category of equity and debt, you have got many subcategories. For example, within equity, you have got subcategories like large cap, mid cap, small cap, multi-cap, etc. You need to shortlist these subcategories based on your risk appetite. Some people like to take more risk and prefer more allocation in mid cap and small cap, whereas some people like to take lesser risk and they stick with large cap funds. Hello everyone, my name is Sahil and this is my Personal Finance Academy where I explain everything about money management in layman's language. Before we proceed further, I want to clarify that there is nothing called Best Mutual Fund for 2021 or Best Mutual Fund for 2022. It is not that you will invest in X set of mutual fund in 2021 and then you will invest in Y set of mutual fund in 2022. When you invest in equity mutual fund for long term, you tend to stick with those funds, unless that scheme is doing poor for a long period of time. Let me also clarify that these top 5 mutual funds that I am going to tell you are not the only best funds available. There are many other schemes that are doing well in the category. It is just that I have picked my top 5 funds. So let's get started. Number 5th mutual fund in the list is Axis Blue Chip Fund. Axis Blue Chip is one of the top performing mutual fund in the large cap category. Funds in large cap category invest in top 100 listed companies of India. This fund has got an asset under management of 20,480 crore and it has got an expense ratio of 0.55%. If you look at the Axis Blue Chip Fund return over the last 1 year, as of 14 December 2020, this fund has given a return of 17.15%. And if we compare it with its benchmark, which is Nifty 100 TRI, then it has given a return of 13.49%. So clearly, Axis Blue Chip Fund has beaten its benchmark with a huge margin in last 1 year. 2-year average return of Axis Blue Chip Fund is 18.24%. And its benchmark Nifty 100 TRI has got an average return of 12.67%. Again, in 2 years, Axis Blue Chip has beaten its benchmark by a huge margin. If you look at the 5-year return, Axis Blue Chip has given a return of 16.5% and its benchmark Nifty 100 TRI has given a return of 12.6%. Again, there is a huge gap and Axis Blue Chip has beaten its benchmark over the last 5 years. If you look at the latest asset and portfolio allocation as of 30th November 2020 for Axis Blue Chip Fund, you can see that it has invested 98.65% in equity and rest in debt. If you look at the allocation by sector, you can see that the majority of the investment is in financial sector, which include 41.79%, technology sector has got 16.54%, healthcare has got 7.4% and FMCG has got 7.3%. If you want to explore in detail, you can see that then it has got energy, then services, then chemical, automobile, communication, construction, consumer durable and metal. If you look at the allocation by market cap, 98.65% is in large cap. If you look at the top stock holding of this fund as of 30th November 2020, then you can see it has got HDFC Bank with allocation of 10.94%, Bajaj Finance has got 10.38% and Infosys got 8.58% and Kotak Mahindra has got 7.63%. If you want to see all the holdings, you can see that after Kotak Mahindra it has got TCS, Reliance, ICICI Bank, Avenue Supermart, HUL, Nestle, Divis Lab, Bharti Airtel, Asian Paint, Pidilite, Dr. Reddy's Lab, HDFC Life Insurance, etc. Number 4th fund in the list is Mirae Asset Focused Fund. Again, Mirae Asset Focused Fund is one of the best performing fund in the focused fund category. Funds in this category restrict their investment to a maximum of 30 stocks. So each stock is selected very carefully. If you look at the AUM of Mirae Asset Focused Fund, it is 4,172 crore and it has got an expense ratio of 0.41%. If you look at the last 1 year return of Mirae Asset Focused Fund, then it has given a return of 20.7%. And if we compare it with its benchmark, then its benchmark is Nifty 500 TRI, which has given a return of 15.7%. Clearly, Mirae Asset Focused Fund has beaten its benchmark by a huge margin. There is no data available for 2-year or 5-year return because this fund is relatively new and was launched in May 2019. But since then, it has been a number one fund in the category. If you look at the latest asset and portfolio allocation of Mirae Asset Focused Fund, you can see that it has invested 96.61% in equity. And if you look at the allocation by sector, financial sector has got 30.6% allocation, energy sector has got 12.35%, technology has got 10.59%, healthcare has got 8%. If you look at the allocation by market cap, it has got 62.63% in large cap stock, 28.75% allocation in mid cap stock, and 5.23% allocation in small cap stock. So this fund has nicely spread the allocation between large, mid and small cap. If you look at the top stock holding, it includes HDFC Bank with 11% allocation, Infosys with 7.86%, ICICI Bank with 7.84% and Reliance Industry with 7.59%. If you want to see the other holding, it includes Bharti Airtel, Torrent Pharma, Britannia, Maruti Suzuki, Bharat Electronics, JK Cement, Max Financials, Voltas, L&T Infotech, HDFC Life Insurance, Kansai Nerolac, Cholamandalam, etc. Number 3 fund in the list is Axis Growth Opportunity Fund. Again, this fund is relatively new and it was launched in May 2018 and it falls under large and mid cap category. The advantage of large and mid cap category is that it spread the money across large and mid cap. So the large cap funds provide the stability and mid cap fund provide the opportunity of growth. In fact, this fund has also got exposure in US companies like Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, etc. As of today, this fund has got an AUM of 1,907 crore and an expense ratio of 0.7%. If you look at the last 1 year performance of this fund, it has given a return of 24.6%. And if we compare it with the benchmark, which is Nifty 500 TRI, then it has given 15.7%. So there's a huge gap and Axis Growth Opportunity Fund has easily beaten the benchmark. Since inception in May 2018, this fund has given an average return of 20.6%. If you look at the latest asset and portfolio allocation of Axis Growth Opportunity Fund, you can see that it has invested 94.46% of the money in equity and rest in debt. If you look at the allocation by sector, financial sector has got 27.8% allocation, service sector has got 14.61%, chemical has got 14.5% and technology has got 9.87% allocation. If you look at the allocation by market cap, then large cap has got 50.94% allocation, mid cap has got 39.5% and small cap has got 4% allocation. If you look at the top stock holding of this fund, it includes Bajaj Finance with 6.95% allocation, Sundaram Finance with 6% allocation, Info Edge India with 5.49% allocation, PI Industries with 4.33% allocation. And if you look at the rest of the fund, it includes Torrent Power, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Supreme Industry, Astral Polytechnic, Indian Hotels, TCS, Endurance, SDFC, Tata Communication, SDFC Bank, Avenue Supermart, Asian Paints, Microsoft, Motherson Sumi, Cholamandalam, Amazon, Gland Pharma, Alphabet, Sumitomo Chemicals, TTK Prestige, etc. Number 2 fund in the category is Mirae Emerging Blue Chip Fund. Mirae Emerging Blue Chip Fund again belongs to large and mid cap category and it is one of the best fund in the category. As of today, Mirae Asset Emerging Blue Chip Fund has got an asset under management of 13,405 crore and has got an expense ratio of 0.76%. If you look at the performance of this fund in last 1 year, as of 14 December 2020, this fund has given a return of 22.2%. And if we compare it with the benchmark is Nifty 500 TRI, which has given a return of 15.7%. Again, this fund has beaten the benchmark by a huge margin. 2-year average return is 18.5% as compared to its benchmark average return of 12.3%. The 5-year average return is 13.6% as compared to the benchmark return of 13%. So again, year on year, consistently this fund has beaten its benchmark. If you look at the latest asset and portfolio allocation of Mirae Asset Emerging Blue Chip Fund as of 30th November 2020, it includes 98.46% allocation in equity. And if you look at the allocation by sector, then financial sector has got 33% allocation, technology sector has got 9.56%, healthcare has got 9.38% and energy has got 9.11%. If you look at the allocation by market cap, 55.3% allocation is in large cap, 36.72% allocation is in mid cap, 6.42% is in small cap. The top stock holding of this scheme include HDFC Bank with 7.47% allocation, ICICI Bank with 5.95%, Infosys with 4.96%, Axis Bank with 4.6%. Other stocks include Bharti Airtel, Max Financial Services, TCS, SBI, Voltas, ITC, Imami, Cholamandalam, Bharat Petroleum, Gujarat State, Reliance, L&T, Kansai Nerolac, etc. Now finally, the number one fund in the category is Parikh Long-Term Equity Fund, or recently it has been renamed to Parikh Flexi Cap Fund. Parikh Long-Term Equity Fund has been one of the top performer in the multi-cap category. But due to the recent changes in multi-cap category, where the fund manager has to keep a minimum of 25% in each of large, mid and small, this particular fund has been moved from multi-cap category to the flexi cap category. In flexi cap category, the fund manager has got the freedom to select between large, mid and small as per their wish without any restriction. So basically, Parikh Long-Term Equity Fund or Parikh Flexi Cap Fund would invest your money across large, mid and small cap. In addition to this, this fund has also got 28.8% allocation in US companies like Alphabet, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, etc. If you look at the last 1 year performance of this fund, as of 14 December 2020, this fund has given a return of 32%. And if you compare it with the benchmark, which is Nifty 500 TRI, that has given 15.7%. So this fund has given more than double the return of its benchmark. 2-year average return of Parikh fund is 22.2%. And if you compare it with the benchmark, it has given 12.3% return. 5-year average return of Parikh long-term fund is 15.9% as compared to the benchmark return of 13%. So clearly, Parikh long-term equity fund has consistently beaten its benchmark over the last 5 years with a very good margin. If you look at the latest asset and portfolio allocation of Parikh long-term equity fund as of 30th November 2020, then it has invested 93.55% of the money in equity, and within this, if you look at the allocation by sector, then technology sector has got 31.94%. So this particular fund has got the maximum allocation in technology stock. Then financial sector has got 27.62% allocation, automobile has got 12.49%, and FMCG has got 10.16% allocation. If you look at the allocation by market cap, then large cap sector has got 54.59% allocation, mid cap has got 28.05% allocation, small cap has got 10.91% allocation. If you look at the top stock holding, it includes Alphabet Inc. Class C, which is the parent company of Google, with 8.54% allocation, ITC with 7.98% allocation, Amazon.com with 6.28% allocation, Persistent System with 6.13% allocation. And if you want to see all the holdings, it includes Bajaj Holding and Investment, Microsoft, Indian Energy Exchange, Hero MotoCorp, Mphasis, Facebook, Suzuki, Multi Commodity Exchange, SDFC Bank, Axis Bank, Balakrishna Industry, ICICI Bank, CDSL, Oracle, Zydus Wellness, Cadila Healthcare, Lupin, Dr. Reddy, Sun Pharma, Ipca Lab, ICRA, etc. So in this video, we discussed the top 5 equity mutual fund for long-term investment. I've tried to keep a fine balance between large cap, mid cap and small cap category. I've also tried to keep exposure in the US stocks. So what do you think about this particular list? Do you hold any of the mutual fund in your portfolio? Do let me know your thoughts in the comment box. And please note that the mutual fund selection would depend upon your individual goal and risk appetite. So consult your financial advisor before investing in mutual fund.